ship. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.
Snake, are you okay? Snake!
aboard. Leave the rest to us.
Where are your friends?
You gonna extract him? Boss, get down. That's an enemy gunship. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies. subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Roger that. Boss, that's a serious injury. It won't heal on its own. You'll need to treat it with first aid. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Search mode.
Понял. Обследуйте сектор. Но осторожно. Конец связи.
Don't speak.
Подожди, не стреляй.
Where are your friends?
He's coming too. Roger that.
Hospitalized in Dekelia, a British sovereign base area on Cyprus. It's part of British overseas territory that falls outside of Cypriot jurisdiction. You got moved from Cuba's Little America right into Cyprus's Little Britain.
Why Dekelia?
The UK and the US remain close allies. The last place Cypher would think to look for you is inside their own system. That's what kept you safe in British military hospital for 9 years. The safest place from a whale is inside its own belly. You were a regular Geppetto.
Well, it wasn't Pinocchio who led me out to safety. So who was that guy?
Cypher went so far as to attack British territory, burning their own ally. That's how badly they wanted you dead.
He said I was in a British military hospital. But the doctor had a Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Dekelia is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. The Cyprus dispute is still a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Now, last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Greece, Turkey, Britain, America, they all have their own stake in pitting the two sides against each other. But once you spark something like this, it's impossible to control. Both sides build up grudges like death, without the foresight to see that each act of revenge just fans the flames, and then it's too late for other nations to rush in with peace talks. The embers keep on smoldering. Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger for revenge. Cyprus is no different. You're up.
We're changing ships.
We can't go sailing the Suez in a whaler.
The Suez Canal. When did they reopen it?
Not long after you were attacked. Once they finished sweeping it for mines after the Arab-Israeli conflict. Can you stand? We're going to transfer to a container ship for passage through the Suez. Our destination is Pakistan.
You gotta extract him.
There we disembark and head via Peshawar to the Zero Line, the border. We'll travel to the Khyber Pass by road.
And then?
Continue on horseback. Afghanistan's main roads are under Soviet control. We'll need to go around them. It'll be all narrow, winding paths through the mountains. We'll do better on horseback. It's a local guerrilla tactic. They use the higher ridges to avoid air recons. Then they charge down the mountains for ambushes. The Soviets still haven't devised a counter-strategy. Our time frame is only half as much as we really need. It'll be a tough march.
Better horses to boots.
Well, it'll make for good physiotherapy. Take the time to get used to that new arm.
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes, the United States is increasingly
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
to do with its preparations. And in fact, this is retaliation for the Western nations' boycott of the previous Moscow Olympics. That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news.
The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics? Yeah. Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics.
Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics.
Yes. In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, détente went right out the window. The U.S. Congress chose not to ratify SALT II, and Reagan's hardline politics won him the presidency in a landslide. According to him, the Soviet Union's an evil empire.
The Second Cold War.
And there's been no end to regional conflicts and civil wars. Lebanon, the Falklands, Grenada, Iran, Iraq. The story never changes.
Egypt and Israel did sign a peace treaty. But then the driving force on the Egyptian side, President Sadat, was assassinated afterward. Apparently, his actions were considered a betrayal of his fellow Arabs. Islamic.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Fundamentalist extremists have been responsible for some bold acts of terrorism in recent years.
We've had extremist students in Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage, and suicide bombings in Lebanon. Over 300 foreign soldiers stationed there have been killed.
But countries have yet to develop an effective means of dealing with terrorism. Afraid of losing their own men, they've pulled their forces out, handing private forces a golden opportunity.
Private forces.
Small armies with no national affiliation, working for the highest bidder. That's right, they got the idea from you. After Mother Base went down, they began spreading to meet the soaring demand. Miller's organization is just one of many PFs now. The entire world is after you. But at the same time, it needs you too. Miller told me about what happened in the Caribbean 9 years ago. You do remember Miller. private army with him. An army with no allegiance to a nation.
I remember, but...
I see. You're not sure what's fact and what's a fantasy caused by the coma. It's still all a mess, huh? All I can do is tell you the facts as they were told to me. I've gone easy on you up until now, but this is where the hard stuff begins. 1974, the year before you entered your coma. You were in Colombia, operating with a small unit of men, basically mercenaries. Miller was among them. Miller was trying to find a way to turn his and your talents into a line of work. He was looking to start
You gotta extract him.
fight on behalf of others around the world, those who needed military force. But the reality was, at that time, you didn't have enough gear to equip your own men. Then Miller came across this client. It was a huge job he was offering, but you had a shot at pulling it off. You accepted it and headed into Costa Rica. The client even threw in an offshore facility in the Caribbean. The mother base. That would be your new base of operations. Miller sure did have a head for business. As your mission went on, your unit grew and grew. More weapons, more money. Before you knew it, you were commanding 300 men. As the organization got bigger, your military powers swelled to match. It got so the international community couldn't afford to ignore you. You were just too damn successful for your own good. You, your men, had worn out your welcome. Everyone was out for you. East, West, First World, Third. It was only a matter of time before someone took you down. And that was XOF. Officially, they're an anti-terror unit under the CIA. In reality, they're Cypher's private strike force. They lured you to Cuba using Chico, the Nicaraguan revolutionary kid, and Paz, a mole who worked for Cypher as bait. While you were gone, XOF, posing as a nuclear inspection team, stormed Mother Base. At the same time, C4 they placed on the strut legs went off. The whole thing went down in minutes. XOF. Kisses and...
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
All because of Miller's blind spot. A back door into Mother Base no one suspected. You remember a certain scientist. Huey was responsible for bringing the inspection.
He's coming too. Roger that.
The enemy a perfect opportunity to hit you at home. You were returning from Cuba when it happened. Mother Base came damn close to taking you with it into the Caribbean. Those of your men out on assignment returned right away. They refused to believe the wreckage in the water they found was Mother Base. But they checked the coordinates again and again, until reality finally settled in. You were supposed to die that day. That was XOF's primary objective. As far as most folks know, you did. The first doctor to see you wasn't even sure what he was looking at. Before they'd even finished operating, your men moved you to that hospital in Cyprus. There was a woman who arranged that. Rings a bell, huh? Most men in your condition would have been written off right from the start. But you survived. You went straight down to hell, and they pulled you out. Your eye wide open. Full of venom. The days of naked Snake are long gone. Welcome back, Venom Snake. This world still needs you. Here, Snake, try this on. I'm prosthetic.
You gotta extract him.
Yeah, Miller was calling it the arm that wasn't there. The physiotherapy's going well. Your arm's bulked up enough for it to fit. Perfect. A little time with it, it'll work better than the real thing. What do you think?
I can still feel my real arm.
Well, you better get used to this one quick. You have any pain?
Every now and then.
Where?
My fingertips. My left fingertips.
Sounds like phantom pain. Your brain still remembers your old hand.
Yeah.
What about your vision? Can you see okay?
Yeah. At the moment.
Now, the shrapnel in your skull is pressing on your optic nerve. I'm told any hard impact could have an effect on your visual cortex.
Yeah. The doctor mentioned that.
Your brain might process visual information incorrectly. In other words, you could have hallucinations. You might see things that aren't there, and not see things as they really are. You experience any of that?
I think so.
When?
Right after I wake up, colors look faded.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Not a major concern in and of itself, but it could mean the difference between life and death in the field. You need to watch out for that.
Oh, well.
All right. You should continue your physio. We'll be arriving soon. This is the last chance you'll get. You were hospitalized in Dekelia, a British sovereign base area on Cyprus. It's part of British overseas territory that falls outside of Cypriot jurisdiction. You got moved from Cuba's Little America right into Cyprus's Little Britain.
Why Dekelia?
The UK and the US remain close allies. The last place Cypher would think to look for you is inside their own system. That's what kept you safe in British military hospital for 9 years. The safest place from a whale is inside its own belly. You were a regular Geppetto.
Well, it wasn't Pinocchio who led me out to safety. So who was that guy?
Cypher went so far as to attack British territory, burning their own ally. That's how badly they wanted you dead.
He's coming too. Roger that.
He said I was in a British military hospital. But the doctor had a Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Dekelia is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. Cyprus
You got to extract him.
is a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line, the UN established.
And Dekelia sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Now, last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight. Those came from the outside. Greece, Turkey, Britain, America. They all had their own stake in pitting the two sides against each other. But once you spark something like this,
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
both sides build up grudges like death, without the foresight to see that each act of revenge just fans the flames, and then it's too late for other nations to rush in with peace talks. The embers keep on smoldering. Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger for revenge. Cyprus is... Boss? How are you back on your feet so quickly?
There's a non-smoking ward.
Boss.
If I listened to everything the doctors said, I'd probably die in here. No point waking up after 9 years for that.
Well, having you out of that bed makes things a little easier.
Bad news, huh?
Things are looking worse.
Go on.
They found out about you waking up, and the man on fire picked this time to wake up too. We'll have to move forward ahead of schedule. Miller already has the preparations underway. We'll have to wake up your neighbor too.
So he's not. He seems awake now.
No. Well, he's not actively conscious yet, at least.
He was a doctor, too.
In his mind, that past no longer exists. Your past is his past now. He's going to be your phantom, not some simple diversion. He'll act as the new big boss. The act just isn't for Cypher. He'll be your face on the world stage, until the time comes for your resurgence.
You make it sound easy.
We've been busy over the last 9 years. His altered state of consciousness has helped us implant powerful suggestions through induced hypnagogia. He's experienced all your missions on record and shares all your knowledge and experience to make him believe that he is the one true big boss. No one around him will doubt that he's the big boss they know. So, is he the real big boss or a stand-in? What does that mean to him? Nothing. The human brain is capable of...
He's coming too. Roger that.
The future. What happens from here depends on his skill. You can vouch for that.
He was always the best man we had.
But 9 years ago in that helicopter, he threw himself between you and the blast. In that moment, the man you knew died. He died protecting you. And now, by becoming you, he protects you again. This is just a detour in his journey to hell. And don't forget, it's what he wanted. He's in his dog days now. It's not just him. We'll be putting the people in this hospital in the line of fire. They'll be your shield and necessary diversion to buy us some time.
And you? I'll be right by his side. Can you keep it up? It's a hell of a lie.
It won't be a lie. I won't know his secret either. I'll believe in you. I'll have no conscious knowledge of you. Where's the lie in that?
Self-hypnosis.
It's nothing new in my line of work. Manipulating memories. The past. That's not all. When the time is right, I need to remember that you're the real boss. In a world, it's double think.
In this year,
2 + 2 = 5. And I want you to do the same.
right. His bodyguard.
Correct. It won't be long before this hospital comes under attack. We'll wake him up right away, but he won't be back to full health in time. We'll need to take him through his final paces.
Yeah. I want to see his face again.
All right, John. I've never forgotten you in these 9 years, but I have to forget you now.
Adam, I'm counting on you. What's up?
About the 1972 project. Les Enfants Terribles.
You never did like the French.
All that Catherine the Great aristocratic pompousness gets to me, that's all. Palace talk. They can keep it.
Les enfants terribles. The terrible children.
That madness Zero started. Or the start of his madness.
You found out something new?
The plan itself was abandoned in '76. ATGC dismantled the project, and their account with DARPA was closed. So I was worried about what happened to you. Your sons.
You know sons of mine. And they're sure as hell not me.
Just a bunch of cells grown in a lab?
What they are is much sicker than that.
Well, Zero doesn't think so. Eva doesn't either. To them, those boys are your clones. They're you, down to the last hair.
And?
The first boys were raised free range, like we thought. Both of them. David has never left the States, but the other, Eli, has disappeared. Might as well call it abandoned. They're through with him.
Where is he?
He was in England, Zero's home ground. Apparently he traveled to Africa after that, but that's where he escaped from Zero's care.
Just like that. Why?
Who knows? Maybe he found out about his birth. If he's alive, he'd be 11 or 12 by now. Old enough to think and act for himself.
So he might still be alive.
On his own, there? I wouldn't bet on it. John, if he is alive, what's the plan?
I have nothing to say to him. Treat him like a human being, just another person.
Boss, this war business you and Miller started. Since the industry spread out to the PFs, it may have a favorable influence on Cypher. To a ruler, an everlasting enemy is convenient. By directing the public's animosity outside his borders, he could unify their frame of mind. Guns for hire continue the war. Then enrich the economy with their spoils. War as a business will become a permanent tool for manipulating the public mind. A new business model. You might even call it a war economy. Before long, Cypher, or rather the Patriots, will be drawn to this. Probably only a few decades before it takes hold. It's not far off at all. Still no leads on Zero. You don't even know whether he's still alive. The protocol he put in motion is making steady progress. Every day, SIGINT's web covers a little bit more of the globe. Total information control. Big Brother Zero. And it'll happen before anyone even realizes. I don't like it. You're the big brother of the battlefield. You've earned a firm grip on the world's military power. But soon, Zero will have nations in his. He'll erase the Cold War. All war from people's minds. And with it, the world's borders. Zero's will, his influence, will be unleashed, with nothing to stem the tide. When that happens, opposition will no longer match the lines on the map. And boss, with no borders left, what difference can we make? War will have lost any true meaning to the world. Just one more gear keeping the wheels of economy turning.
Another product bearing down the capitalist conveyor belt. The future your friend Miller wanted. That's all there is in store. Perhaps it's already too late. But human will should only be handed down and nurtured by human hands. It can't be entrusted to the system. Especially not that soulless phantom that Zero's left in his wake. No matter what happens, we'll have to fight someday to reclaim our truth. Until next time, Big Boss. Someone has successfully struck at Zero. Since Zero's using a private network, we get information, but we have no way to trace his location. That means the details are still fuzzy at this point, but apparently some new bioweapon was used. As soon as he noticed the dip in his vital signs, he had his stomach pumped and even underwent blood dialysis. But he didn't fully recover. Ironically, if Zero kept more company, he'd have been safe. Since the incident, his speech and actions have been getting more unhinged by the day. He's probably been rushed to another safe house for intensive care. But the location is a complete mystery. That's the way he operates. He went to incredible lengths to make sure his great escape went unnoticed. So far, I know at least Langley and the Pentagon were involved. He had a blackout triggered in New York to disrupt the transportation and information grids, and at least 2 submarines were sighted off the coast. The personnel involved were working off a cover story. Naturally, the White House was fed the same thing. The project is buried under a pile of dummy ops and backup plans stretching across multiple organizations. It's safe to say not one of the people involved knew what they were moving or to where. All top secret, no trail, no leads. He's living up to his name as usual. Only this time, even I can't find him. Now, the only record of his location
You gotta extract him.
for AI that was at the heart of the escape plan. And that's closed off, with its data sealed away in a secret location. Skullface was able to put together this assassination attempt, but even he can't possibly know where Zero is now. I'll keep searching, but when you're up against he who controls information, it's gonna be a long battle.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Is Anderson, after all. That's right, the man who went by Sigint during Operation Snake Eater. Following Zero's disappearance, he's taken over command of Cypher. Well, to be precise, the AI he oversees has. The idea to have an AI act for Zero came about in '74.
You gotta extract him.
Pod penetrated NORAD. Clearly, an AI couldn't be allowed to make its own decisions. So they would take away its ability to act, and instead create a specialized system in which the AI, bound by specific rules, filters the massive amounts of data it collects before passing it on to people, subtly guiding their decision-making. A system of the people, by the people, for the people. So they began researching how to do it. DARPA apparently brought Strangelove on board to head it up. She was forced out after a certain incident. The direction of the project and any trace of her existence was scrubbed after her departure. Before Zero lost consciousness as his condition worsened, he left instructions for Anderson, through a cutout, of course. Zero went out of his way to hide your location in order to keep you safe. This meant sacrificing his own protection. It was the only way to ensure you could stand alone as your own man. Here I am. The only link between you and the world that's passing you by. I'm your last connection now. This was Zero's last request. His will. Once you're awake, we need to discuss the best way to ensure your safety. Oh, and they've got a name for Anderson's AI project. It's called the Patriots. It's all about ensuring that the concepts driving society appears the same in the mind of each person in that society. About maintaining the identity of the individual, and yet having that individual willingly make up part of the whole. I guess it's fitting to call that patriotism. Creating a united world. Zero's will is already fading into a shadow of what it once was. Systems, guidelines, rules, laws. When you take a mentality and fix it in a solid shape, put it out there in the hands of people, it can only begin to decay. No mentality can last forever. When the body dies, the will dies with it.
Huh?
Over here.
Hello?
Not there. Here.
Huh?
Thank you for coming. Please.
You're...
Is it that odd? I suppose the cuffs have gotten a bit loose. Although, truth be told, I have been spending more time in pajamas as of late.
No, nothing.
The tie, perhaps. Not the most fashionable pattern, I admit.
No, it is very nice.
How sweet. Will you take a little brandy? You're hardly underage, after all.
No, thank you.
Please, sit. Pacifica Ocean.
What?
Ah, yes. You've already begun. Not bad. A schoolgirl through and through. Even he won't suspect otherwise. Here you are.
Thank you. I heard you were sick.
Poppycock. I just like to take a little time off work.
You?
You must feel that way sometimes.
Well,
Anyway, I could hardly greet my first guest from that damned bed.
I missed my chance to catch you snoring.
Now I'm twice as glad I got ready in time. Drink before it gets cold. English breakfast tea. All I have, I'm afraid. There were 8 candidates before you, meaning you will be the 9th Paz Ortega Andrade.
What happened to the others?
They're in the next room. They've been taking it easy these past few months.
They...
Do you see any windows here?
No?
I've gotten used to it, this life. I am who I am, after all, and I've had my fill of cursing this bloody cunt. Excuse me. But I can't help sometimes wishing I could see the stars. What should I do?
Well, you could go outside, go up to the roof, wait for the clouds to pass. You would have a view of Manhattan, and a pretty one too. But once the wind blows and the clouds pass, you can look up and see a sky full of stars. Even here.
You've had a hard time getting to where you are.
Yes.
Sewer rats lead better lives. I know. Extreme training, starvation, days spent without sleep, abandoned, hurt, and all but killed every way imaginable. Some of your compatriots died, others betrayed you, left you for dead, and you did the same to them. But through it all, you survived, and you alone made it here. Just look at you. I can see everything you've been through.
Yes.
Consider this mission a reward for the mountain you've climbed.
Thank you.
Yes, well, you know what's next.
Yes.
And you are prepared?
Yes.
I believe you. That ever so slight tan. Not the type you'd get on the West Coast. If I didn't know better, I'd say you really did grow up around the equator. But it runs deeper than that. One look at you, and I see a wide-eyed student yearning for peace. Born and raised in Central America. I can see it all. How much preparation have you done?
A little.
You'll be perfect for this, to strike back at Snake. I'll share everything I know about him. But you mustn't forget who you're dealing with. If he were to get the better of you, well, I deeply regret having put you in that position. But beyond that, I'm putting my life in your hands.
You can trust me, Cypher.
None of my friends call me that. Tea's gone cold. Shall I make some more?
That's the target.
No, we are the only ones here. There's no one in the other room.
Where are the others?
And how do you know that?
You said I was there first.
I haven't had this much fun in quite a while. All right, then.
Cypher's been in hiding ever since his grand experiment. No one's seen him in years. All we hear are orders delivered by proxy. Except you. You met with him, face to face, in order to contact Big Boss. Tell me where he is. Where is Cypher? Where is Zero?
He's coming too. Roger that.
Where I was born, the language I speak. I've never had the freedom to choose for myself. But you, right now, are free. Do as you will.
This will save Big Boss.
It may.
Will you really
You gotta extract him.
Zero for me?
Not for you.
All right. Zero is Hell's Kitchen. Danger Avenue. He's undergoing treatment there.
Not exactly Hyde Park.
His medical needs keep him from moving around. That is why he summoned me there. The other residents are of varying race and ages, but in reality, all 40 units are Cypher personnel. It took him 10 years to replace the original occupants. He's got places like this all over the world.
No better place to hide a needle than a stack of needles.
Zero is on the top floor. A room with no windows and no doors. Even the elevator does not reach it. Officially, that floor does not exist. The only access is by a secret staircase 1 floor down. Room 702.
Shades of World War II.
Nobody realizes the entire building is a setup. People go in and out all day. But they're all safe. The building blends right in with the rest of the city. They disseminate rumors that a gang operates out of the building that keeps most outsiders away. And most of them are there as security in case of an emergency. But even they don't know what they're really protecting.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Foot traffic, goods coming in and out, phone lines, water and sewage. It is all monitored remotely by satellite and cameras inside and out. Should he need it, there's a sealed-off water conduit that can be used to escape to the Hudson River, and from there to the sea. But from the outside, it is just another building. A perfect disguise.
So the Major believes zero suspicion equals total security. Very bold. It's just the kind of ruse I'd expect from him. So long as no one's suspicions are aroused, you could hide there forever. On the other hand, if someone figures it out, there are dozens of ways in. And he's so paranoid about information slipping out, no one involved has the full picture. That ignorance is a weakness, the downfall of a need-to-know system. The pitfalls are clear. Circumventing them will be simplicity itself.
You hate him, don't you?
Hate? He never left me to die. I owe him my life. I'm bound to repay the favor. Any way I can. But that's not what you really want to know. What you want to know is, do I hate Big Boss? I don't hate the man. I do deserve a little more of his gratitude. But he probably has no idea who I am. So you see, I have no reason to hate him at all. I mean to have my revenge against Zero. It's not petty hatred or resentment. Nothing so personal. Even the hottest lava eventually cools, becoming a mountain. And that mountain becomes the land. Scalding steam comes back down as rain, forming rivers, draining into the sea. It's then that nature's order sets in. Now I'm merely a part of that cycle. Just like Zero. And you. And Big Boss.
Don't do it!
That lava, that vengeance, is already set as stone. Too late to change things now.
Don't kill him!
The choice is not mine to make.
Please, let Big Boss live!
Proceed.
Give her the shot already! Hold her still.
It's me. Ocelot. It's been quite a while. Yeah, I'll say. Took a lot longer for you to surface than I expected, Major. I wasn't planning on coming back at all, but I had no choice. Well, after the Caribbean. My hunch was proven right. You wouldn't believe who was behind it. Oh, I have an idea. How did you respond? Immediate disinformation campaign. Most bought into the story, but not everyone.
It was quite an incident, after all. I couldn't cover everything, but I did hide the fact that Snake survived. And that should buy us some time.
Where is he?
En route to an old foxhole of mine. A base in the British sovereign area of Cyprus.
The military hospital that did kill him?
Ava's leading the operation.
Ava? Following your orders?
Funny, isn't it? That we should all reunite like this.
This is an emergency. Otherwise, I sure as hell would...
Yes, I don't expect you to bury the hatchet between us. Something simply won't ever happen. Even I can appreciate that. You too can only perhaps speak with me from time to time. That's fine. But I don't want Snake to die. Surely we can come together on that. There are so few men I can turn to. And you're number one, Ocelot. Keep him hidden. Keep him safe. But I'll stay where I am. And leave the rest to you. That's how he'd want it too.
Isn't it better for you to be there to supervise?
Where I am, where he goes, it makes no difference. All that matters is getting him the very best treatment and the security. The latter being where you come in. Will he wake up?
He's coming too. Roger that.
No idea. But as long as his heart is beating, he will keep fighting. So please, watch over him.
This location...
You gonna extract him?
No one will find him. And if they try, I will deal with them. The information must be suppressed.
Which is what you do best. Guess you're still at the top of your game, huh?
Anything but. I'm sick, Ocelot. Donald's taken over a great deal. He'll be handling this situation from here on as well. Though I wish it weren't so. This will probably be the last time you and I speak. So, you won't say no, will you?
I have no choice.
Thank you.
Save your thanks.
One more thing. A proposition.
Boss, get down. The enemy sniper. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.
You could say, I've made another Snake.
Major?
I'm not talking about the children. A mental copy. His phantom, if you like.
I don't understand.
You will when you get to Cyprus. I've set the ball in motion, but the rest is in your hands. You're good at this kind of thing. The best. I need you on this.
If it's in his best interests.
I assure you, it is. Look after Snake. He's the toughest son of a bitch I've ever known. Yes, it's me.
He's coming too. Roger that.
I have trouble finding him. Where is he? Safe. But in the same state as when you last saw him. We've had our misunderstandings, you and I. But as you've made clear, our relationship is strictly business. Therefore, I will limit this conversation to the business at hand. Please understand that I don't dislike you. Not inherently.
Where is Snake?
Now. Settle down, or I'll have to hang up. And then you never hear from me again. Do you understand? Yes, it's me. You weren't in hospital long. I had trouble finding you. Where is he? Safe. But in the same state as when you last saw him. We've had our misunderstandings, you and I. But as you've made clear, our relationship is strictly business. Therefore, I will limit this conversation to the business at hand. Please understand that I don't dislike you. Not inherently.
Where is Snake?
Now. Settle down, or I'll have to hang up. And then you never hear from me again. Do you understand? First, about your boss. I had him moved once he was stabilized. I'm sure it came as quite a shock to you when you woke up. You'll have to forgive me.
I told him to stop putting me under.
Surely you understand. Specialized medical treatment in places like that can be positively nightmarish. We couldn't have left him there forever. And to be honest, I was entirely comfortable leaving matters in your hands. Don't take it the wrong way. Anyone looking for him would be looking for you. He needed to be as far from you as possible. In fact, I'm still not sharing his location, even now. Problems could arise. So instead, I'm giving you a point of contact. An introduction to a network of messengers who will lead you to a man. A friend to your boss. I'm sure he's mentioned him before. He knows Snake's location. More than any man alive, I trust him with this sort of thing. Keeping secrets.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Quite a while. 10 years longer than you. Kazuhira, I don't care if you don't trust me, but I require your absolute trust in him on this. Snake will be brought back into this world, however long it takes. Understood? The only reason we're having this conversation is because you still have a role to play. Which brings me to the next issue. What happens after he regains consciousness? When Snake wakes up, and he will, he'll need your help again. So when he does, I promise you'll be the first to know. The code phrase will be, V has come to. I'll then mobilize all the necessary parties. Think of it as an overture to a prologue. Until then, do what you like. Just be ready when the time comes. But you don't need me to tell you that, do you? I know it's been hard on you too, but I can't imagine you're willing to just walk away.
What are you talking about? If what you're saying is true, then this is like wrapping a rope around your own neck and throwing it over a branch. What's your play in all this?
This is for Snake. So that he survives after he wakes up. Nothing more. After that, I don't care what you do.
Then tell me something.
Go on.
I only joined you after I found out what you were after. To make the world one, you need Snake for that. And he's already done a hell of a lot for you.
He has.
So on some level at least, I think you're being straight with me. Then why'd you do that, Tim? I get what you were trying with Paz. You wanted to get Snake any way you could. But after... Your extraction target, Emmerich. The weapon system that disappeared into that cave, and the man who was with it. Emmerich must know something about what's going on. He was transferred to the Soviet base camp. I've marked it on the map. Make your way to that base camp.
Копыта, Дмитрий! Только что